So KOCOA is actually K-O-C-O-A. This is a low-lying spot. You can see there is a creek back here. A lot of overgrowth, heavily wooded, and we are at the bottom of a hill. So the K in KOCOA is actually key terrain. So we're actually going to walk up to the top of this hill. So let's go. Down there, we were from down there, then we walked up the path, and then we see water was to our right, and then I walked up halfway up the hill. We are now on the higher ground of our terrain. Second one, O, is obstructions of our fields of fire. As we see here, we actually have a lot of obstructions. So we're going to move a little bit so that we don't have too many obstructions, and then we're going to be able to set our fields of fire. So come on, let's go. Right here. Just on the other side of this little wooded area is basically going to be our enemy, the horde mongers. This is what I'm going to call them for this COVID-19. Let's go. Be careful, a lot of logs here. All right, we're now at the location of horde mongers development. As you can see, we have a lot of field behind us, and way further back is our KOCOA or home base. There's a lot more clearing here. So we don't want to be too open and exposed, so we're going to step back a little bit further into the tree line, and then we're going to set up basically where we're going to have our entrenchment and our fields of fire. So let's go. As you see, we have a natural depression in the ground and awesome mound right here. On top of that, if you come a little closer, you can see we actually have pretty good visibility of the development. So this is where we're going to have our entrenchment. One entrenchment is called a hasty, and that's pretty much where you are just real quick and you push up the ground, make a little bit of a mound in front of you. You make it as long as you are tall, and you kind of just laying low for cover. You're really not digging in. The second is a single man or two man entrenchment or pit. That's what we Seabees mostly use. We usually have two in a pit. And you want to team up with somebody around the same height. So I'm 5'11". You don't want to pair me up with somebody who's 5'7", because we're going to dig that pit at least to the top of my shoulder. So this person, they're not going to be able to see it at the top of the trench. Then we have two other pits where we're going to have our machine guns. One will be like a T shape, or it can be a U shape. That's where we're going to set our 240 Bravo, and that's where we're going to have our primary field of fire for like a road or something. There's just some obstructions in my field of fire. I found a pretty good spot. already has a natural mound built up. So I'm actually going to step this down, make it look like deer came through or something like that, so that I can actually set my fields of fire. So I'm going to step this down, and we're going to stop recording just in case I fall. All right, I've stopped down some of the overgrowth to clear out some of my fields of fire. So O was obstructions of my field of fire. So now I'm going to go take some spray paint and visually hit some trees out here so that you can see where I'm going to have my fields of fire. So I'll be back. Okay, as you can see, I spray painted the trees to my left and to my right with some pink paint. My daughter, she zoomed in so that you can see that is my fields of fire. I'm not going past that. That's going to be my right lateral limits, and that's going to be my left lateral limits. So now I've established my field of fire. All right, this is now to the C part of our KOCOA. C stands for cover and concealment. That is different than camouflage. Here, when I talk about this hill or this mound, this is natural cover and concealment. I can easily get down and I can still see my target, I can still see my limits, and I can easily be hidden. That's cover. Which brings us to the next O in KOCOA. That is obstacles. That's different than obstructions. We're talking about obstacles that are in your way for a retreat or obstacles of the enemy. So behind us here, or actually in front of us, turn around, you'll see that little pond, river. That's an obstacle. When we were coming up, turn back around. When we were coming up, we had a lot of fallen trees and logs that we had to step over. So we want to make sure that we clear those out so that if we have to egress out of here, we can do so in a quick manner. Which leads us to the next and last part of KOCOA, avenues of approach. That's avenues of approach for the enemy. Again, we are looking at this area. This is actually pretty flat. Since we are on the high ground, we can actually see a lot of their avenues of approach. They can come from any direction. However, as I mentioned, that obstacle of that water, that might slow them down. If there was a road over here, or as we see some houses over here closer than that house, or another pit that's over here, we would probably have our 240 Bravos set up over here for a final fire line of protection, because they are closest and that is the probably most practical avenue of approach. So that's our KOCOA. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm EA One More, and watch for some more videos. Thanks.